Hi everyone, I'm Mary with Mary Greeley News. Thank you for joining me. There was 5 earthquakes in California and along the coast by the Gorda Plate today within the last 24 hours. And they're all basically related to what's going on with the earthquakes there in Cobb Mountain, the Gorda Plate, and Lake Pillsbury. The largest earthquake was originally a magnitude 4.0 that USGS downgraded to a 3.9. They also changed the focal mechanism ball within that time of the downgrade. So you may ask, how are all these earthquakes, these 5 earthquakes, all related to each other? The Mendocino triple junction marks the northern end of the growing San Andreas Fault. About 10 to 12 million years ago, the San Andreas Fault had made it to north to the San Francisco Bay Area, and about 3 million years ago, it was near the latitude of Clear Lake, California. That is where today's magnitude 2.8 earthquake occurred. It was a strike-slip earthquake. Here on the focal mechanism ball, you can see how the fault line moved northeast. And we got slight spreading, the first wave of the earthquake. This was a strike-slip earthquake, though. The first wave of the earthquake came from the south a little bit, almost straight up, and tension was applied, going north, slightly west. Going to the Lake Pillsbury earthquake, the 4.0 that they downgraded to a 3.9, here you can see we got spreading. The fault line moved northeast, and the first wave of the earthquake came from the south. Tension was applied going west. Going back to Google Earth, here we have the 2.8 earthquake at Anderson Springs. That came first. Then afterwards came the 3.9. That was at Lake Pillsbury. So what does it have to do with the Gorda Plate? Well, the San Andreas Fault Zone is trying to extend into the Gorda Plate. The largest earthquake there was a magnitude 3.1 that occurred yesterday. Then afterwards there was a 2.9 and then a 3.0. USGS does not have any focal mechanism ball for the earthquakes that occurred along the Gorda Plate. All 3 of those earthquakes were right along the fault line. Boom, boom, boom. Here's the 3.1, the 2.9, and the 3.0. And I'll bring this out. The Gorda Plate is slowly subducting underneath the North American Plate. And then down over here, it's doing a counterclockwise rotation that I've talked about as it subsides underneath the North American Plate. Anderson Springs is not far from Clear Lake. Let me bring this out and bring it up. When they upgraded their volcanic hazards recently, they feel that the greatest threat right now is probably from a hydrothermal eruption there at the lake. And there's been 2 in the past, actually more, there at Clear Lake, right along the water's edge. About 10,000 years ago, a side eruption because of the heated water, probably from the magma chamber, from Mount Konocti. Yeah, Mount Konocti is a volcano. Mount Konocti ranks 33 of volcanic threats here in the United States. The Clear Lake volcanic field is not on a spreading center or within a subduction zone. It lies just west of the San Andreas transform system that forms the boundary between the Pacific and the North American Plate. Because of the evolution of the San Andreas Fault system, it has provided a gap in the plate structure that, in this case, allowed for magma body to form and eruption to occur. And once again, the Mendocino triple junction marks the northern end of the growing San Andreas Fault. A remnant of the Farallon Plate continues to be pulled down into the mantle, creating a gap or a window in a zone between the ridge and the subducting slab. what it did was stretch and thin the ground above. The current threat level put Clear Lake area in the high-risk category for future eruptions below Mount Shasta and Latson, but above Mono Lake and Mammoth Lakes. Yeah, there's other areas that I have drawn out in yellow where there's been past eruptions there at Clear Lake. We got Thurston Creek. This is an area of rhyolite flows. There's another one further down. This is a series of 3 volcanic eruptions that occurred. And then we got another one off by the southern arm. I don't know if did I draw it out? Yeah, I did. It's over here. This is Borax Lake. This is another eruption of rhyolite. And then there's another one from a hydrothermal eruption. Let me see if I can find it. That one is called Little Borax Lake. Oh, right over here. Right there. Yeah, that was from another hydrothermal eruption that occurred there at Clear Lake. You know, I've talked about these hydrothermal eruptions in the past that happened at Yellowstone. And yeah, I didn't even think about Clear Lake. I had lived there. There was a time not too long ago where a whole bunch of fish died off and they wondered why. Well, I'm not surprised. With the gases coming up from the volcanic activity that goes on here. Yeah, makes sense. And like I said, as we see the evolution, the evolving of the weakening of the magnetic pole reversal, we're going to see a lot more earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and that's got a lot to do with what's going on with the sun also. So anyways, if you have any thoughts or comments or questions, please put it down below. Thank you for watching. Please stay safe, and I will talk to you later. God bless you. Bye.